Hello everyone, and welcome to what is going to be by far my biggest video game collection, my PS2 collection. The PS2 was released October 26th, 2000, and they really don't have accurate sales figures for this console. All they know is that it sold around 155 million units, which is by far the highest selling console of all time, so easily the highest selling one I have. And believe it or not, it wasn't discontinued until January of 2013 in the United States, which means it lasted a very long time, 13 years, which is also the longest lifespan of any console. But we go on to the massive collection of games I have for this console. I wouldn't really say it's massive. I mean, compared to some people, it's not that big, but it is my largest one. We'll start off first with, I don't even know if these came in their own cases to begin with, but I have them in just dual cases. First off, we have the Codebreaker by Pelican. I couldn't find an accurate release date for this this disc. I mean, it's version 8.1. I even specifically looked that up, and I couldn't find a release date for it at all. But I actually got this from a really good friend of mine that I've talked about a lot. His name's Alex. I mean, I mentioned him, not by name, in a lot of the other videos, but this is another disc I borrowed from him, and he just decided to give to me because he didn't want to use it anymore. And I used it a lot whenever we played. So he decided to give it to me, which was really cool of him. And then the second disc is actually the Game Shark 2. I was actually able to find a release date for this one. It was released in fall of 2000, which basically means this came out when the PS2 came out, which doesn't quite make sense. I think the version here is 1.3, and it has some games on here that were released well after that, so I think it might actually have been released at a later date. Maybe just this version, but I don't know. I actually got this from my little stepbrother. He used this, and I basically asked him if it worked, because I guess he couldn't get it to work on his PS2 or something for a while, and I'm like, hey, if it works on mine, can I use it? And he said yeah, so I just kind of kept it. And yeah, these two cheat discs have some of the same games on them, I think, but there's actually games on each that aren't on the other, so that's pretty cool. I have to use both of them if I want to mess around. Alright, so we go on to the actual games here. We start off with The Bard's Tale, which was released October 26, 2004, which is actually the first birthday of the PS2. I kind of bought this sort of on a whim. I went to this one retro gaming store, and they had a crazy sale for PS2 games. So I bought like 13 of them, and you'll see quite a few of them in this. And this was one of them because I'd heard of it somewhere. I haven't really played it, but the way it plays, it reminds me a lot of like Dragon Age or Elder Scrolls. And it had some voices I recognized in it, but otherwise I haven't really played the thing a whole lot, so there's not a whole lot to say about it. I think it was really popular though, because I recognize the name. Actually, this is a remake of a really popular PC game, that's right. That's why I knew it was famous. Yeah, that's right. Then we have Castlevania Lament of Innocence, which was released October 21st, 2003. You know, this is another game I haven't really played, but I saw it at a retro game store, a different one in this area than The Bard's Tale. And it was on a clearance rack, basically, which was like buy two, get one free or something. And I was like, hey, I can go for a Castlevania game for a newer console, why not? So I picked it up, haven't really played it. From what I saw, it plays reasonably well. From what I kind of demoed when I made sure the disc worked, it played reasonably well. So that's pretty cool. Otherwise, you know, not a whole lot I can say. Then we go on to a horror game. Clock Tower 3. Now, I honestly know nothing about this game. It was actually released March 18th, 2003. And like I said, I know nothing. I got this at a third, believe it or not, there's 3 around here. There's more than that, I'm sure. But at a third retro game store, the original one that I used to go to all the time, that I don't really go to anymore, me and Phoenix, a friend I've mentioned quite a few times, went in there and we were looking for horror games because we wanted to start playing them just for the hell of it. And we asked the guy behind the counter, and he grabbed this game. It was a little bit more expensive than I was expecting, but I said okay at the time, and unfortunately I haven't really played it. So I don't really know that much about it. It looks interesting though. Maybe I will play it someday. This is a game I should definitely play. But Clock Tower 3. I know nothing about it. I don't know where the other 2 clock towers are, you know. Moving on, we actually have something a little bit special. This is Cowboy Bebop. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but this is actually a Japanese game. And it was released in Japan on August 25th, 2005. So, believe it or not, reasonably late into the lifespan. I honestly don't know anything about this game because I can't play it because I need a Japanese PS2 and I don't have one. I just picked it up because it's a Cowboy Bebop game and it was surprisingly cheap. I actually bought this at the same time as Japanese Gold. I saw them both in the imports section of this store, so I picked them both up. There is a way to like mod your PS2 to play it and stuff, but I don't know if I want to do that and break my PS2. So I might either try to find a Japanese PS2 or I think somebody I know has a Japanese PS2 or something, or a modded PS2. Maybe I'll play it on there someday. Otherwise, I can't really play it, but that's okay. It's a Cowboy Bebop game. Then we go on to probably one of the first games I remember for this console. That is Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex, which was released October 29th, 2001. So, pretty early into the lifespan of this console. I remember this quite a lot. To me, this was the last good Crash Bandicoot game before a bunch of people took over it, or before turned to crap, honestly. It still had the same feel of the old Crash Bandicoots, but it looked a little bit more 3D and crisp. The only thing I don't like about this game is the insanely long loading times. This was also released on Xbox and GameCube, and the loading times were a lot better. But early PS2 games had terribly long loading times, and this was definitely a nice example of that. I never actually beat this game. I got really far, but I couldn't beat it because at the time I was young and was bad at games like this. I remember my stepbrother beating it, my older stepbrother that I've talked about a bit, beating this game. I need to sit down and actually try to beat this game because I really feel like I actually could now. So maybe soon, maybe this will just be when I decide to do the Crash Bandicoot games, I'll sit down and beat this as well. But I did have a lot of fun playing this game because they added some cool new levels. Like there's more levels with Crash's cousin Coco. There's these stages where you roll around in this ball, which was actually really fun and presented some new challenge. And yeah, it was just overall a really fun game. I wouldn't call it better than Warped for the PS1, but still really, really good. And I actually enjoyed it a lot. Then we go on to a series I remember really, really well for this console. First up, we have the first one, Destroy All Humans, which was released June 21st, 2005. Funny thing, going back and looking up release dates for these, I didn't realize this game came out that late in the lifespan for this console, because 2005 is the year I started high school. That would have been right after I basically left middle school. I started playing this game, and that's nuts if you think about it. Like, I didn't quite realize that it came out that late, but I remember playing this game a whole heck of a lot. I remember talking to some of my friends about this game a lot too. But you basically play as an alien, not really invading Earth, even though it says the invasion is here up there at the top. But you're basically an alien trying to kind of run around on Earth and kind of infiltrate your way into certain things, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty challenging from what I remember, but I had a lot of fun with this game. I did beat it. I don't really remember beating it, but I believe I beat this one completely. I'll have to go back and try to do it again just so I actually remember beating it. But it was definitely a fun game. Then we go on to the sequel, Destroy All Humans 2, which was released October 17th, 2006, over a year after the first game. I remember when this game came out. I actually got it before I went up to visit my great-grandparents, and I started it up there, if I remember right. But I played this game a lot too. I did beat it. I didn't get everything. I remember my friend, I let him borrow this game in my PS2 at the time, and he basically 100%ed this game. But this is basically the nice a sequel where you play during the Cold War. So instead of the 60s, it's the 70s. So I believe you're the same alien, and you're basically trying to... I can't remember if you're trying to prevent the Cold War or if you're trying to start the Cold War. But what's really cool about this game is this was the first game where you could actually play two-player, and I do remember doing that a few times. I didn't do it too much. I actually would say I probably enjoyed this game more than number one, although I don't think it's as highly rated or highly regarded as the first one. And then these were the only two good games in the series. After this, the series kind of fell off. But these two first games were absolutely phenomenal. I just remember all the pop culture references in this one specifically. Like, there was a really famous song on the internet back in these days called The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. And they referenced it, and they referenced, like, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That was before I had seen that, but I know that now. There's just all kinds of pop culture references in this game. It was such a great game, really, it was. Then we go on to an absolute classic series for this console. Devil May Cry. This first one was released October 16th, 2001, so pretty early into the lifespan. Unfortunately, I haven't played any of the Devil May Crys. I just remember it's a crazy action shooting slasher. I remember there being guns and pretty nuts game, and I need to play it because Dante's an absolute classic character. I will someday play these games, but Devil May Cry is a really highly regarded game, and I know a lot of people enjoy these games. But we then have the sequel, Devil May Cry 2, which was released January 25th, 2003, almost 2 years later, or just over a year later, and it's actually a 2-disc game, which is pretty cool. I think it's the only PS2 game I have that's 2 discs. Now this game, if I remember right, is not very highly regarded compared to the other ones. Apparently people didn't really like this game. I don't quite remember why, but I'm still going to play it one day because I want to play all of them. Still pretty cool to have. I like this cover. And then finally, we have Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening. This is the special edition. The original release of this game was March 1st, 2005. Now this version, the special edition here, was released January 24th, 2006. This special edition, you can play as Virgil. There's a new enemy, a new boss, a very hard mode, a turbo mode, and it just says more. But it's a 1-disc game again, and I guess this went back to being absolutely amazing. I believe this one and 4, if I remember right, are the most popular and most highly regarded games in this series. But unfortunately I haven't played this either, so yeah, I definitely need to play these games because Dante. Then we go back. If you remember the PS1 collection, I had quite a few Digimon games. We have a few more here. First up, we have Digimon Rumble Arena 2. It's a sequel to one of my favorite fighting games on the PS1, or probably my favorite one. This game was released September 3rd, 2004. You know, I don't have as many memories of this game as I do the first one. That's because I didn't have it for as long, and I didn't play it as much. I honestly didn't really like the game all that much up until recently. And there was one character I didn't unlock for a very long time. But I actually sat down and played this game with my friend Phoenix and his girlfriend. Actually, before it was just him and I, and then we played again with his girlfriend. And we realized how absolutely absurd and ridiculous this game could be. It's actually a lot of fun now. It just the game is absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you look, this case is actually really thin. That's because it was actually a rental from Hollywood Video, if you remember those back in the day. This was a rental that I guess they put in the Game Crazy section back when those were a thing to sell. And my really good friend Philly actually went and bought this for me. I think it was to pay off. Yeah, he owed me a bunch of money for something. I can't remember exactly what. But he basically paid it off by buying me this game, and because he knew I loved the first one. And maybe I will try to find the original case for this one day. But, you know, at least I have it in a case, and it's a pretty unique case if you think about it, because it's Hollywood Video. But this game's actually a lot more fun than I thought it was back in the day when I got it. Then, more Digimon. We have Digimon World 4, which was released June 2nd, 2005. Like I said in the PS1 collection, all of the Digimon worlds are completely different, and this game is no exception. In this game, so basically, first Digimon world, you're the tamer walking around with your Digimon, fighting Digimon and trying to make friends, and kind of, it was an RPG. It felt like, I guess, Monster Rancher? No, I don't know exactly what game it was modeled after, but it was different. And then the second game was a dungeon crawler, and then the third game was kind of like Final Fantasy or like Phantasy Star. This game, you play as the Digimon with weapons, and you have to run around and fight Digimon. This would be kind of in the vein of, like, I want to think something like the Tales of games. This game's actually a lot harder than it looks. It's actually really hard. Me and my friend Logan actually sat down and tried to play this game, and we couldn't get all that far because we kept getting our butts handed to us. I actually got this game from Philly's sister, my friend Philly, his sister. I still think I overpaid for this game, but not anymore because the Digimon games have shot up in price. So at the time I felt like I overpaid for it, but now I don't, because I could probably make what I paid for this game back very easily if I were to sell it, but I'm not going to. But it's a nice game to have. Someday I will beat it when I can actually figure it out. And then finally for Digimon, we have Digimon World Data Squad, which was released September 16th, 2007. Really late into the lifespan of this console. I actually remember buying this game on Black Friday. I actually went to buy it used, and I went up to the counter at GameStop, and they told me it's actually cheaper new right now, so I ended up buying it new. Now this game kind of feels like a cross between the first Digimon world and the third Digimon world, because you have... No, actually, it's probably more like the third Digimon world. I think. It's a little bit different, but it's based on the Data Squad or Digimon Savers series. But you get multiple Digimon, and I actually believe I beat this. I'm not 100% sure, because I played it, and I don't think there's anything else I have left to do. But it actually came with some stickers that I think I put in a box somewhere. I don't actually still have them. I've seen the stickers recently, so I know I still have them in a box somewhere. But that's pretty cool. Stickers, I guess. But This game was a lot of fun. I do remember playing it a whole heck of a lot. And getting kind of mad because I would keep getting stuck, but otherwise it was a really fun game. Then we go on to Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, which was released August 15th, 2006. I like how it has the nice shiny insert there. It's not that shiny anymore because it's a pretty old game now. I honestly bought this game because of the character Vincent Valentine and the voice actor that plays him, Steve Bloom. He's really famous for playing that. He also played Vincent in Advent Children. So I ended up finding this game at one point. I don't remember where, but I picked it up. From what I've seen, it isn't as highly regarded as a lot of Final Fantasy games. In fact, a lot of people don't like it because instead of it being like a RPG kind of thing, it's just like a gun shoot 'em up kind of game from what I've seen, but I'm okay with that. It's entirely fine by me. I just want to play and have Steve Bloom playing a character. It's always nice. I haven't actually beaten the game, but I will at some point. It's definitely something I want to play. Then we go on to a game called Dr. Muto, which was released November 19th, 2002. Released by Midway, which is pretty cool. This was one of those giant bunch of games that I bought at the one retro game store. This is basically one, I don't remember exactly, I think it was one of the games that, like they opened, there was a game, yeah, that's what it was. There was a game that they tried to open to get the disc and they didn't end up having the disc, so I told my friend Phoenix to just go grab a game, and this is the game he came back with. I know really nothing about it. From what I know, it's a platformer. And platformers aren't bad. I actually have another friend, Brandon, who said he's played this on the Xbox, and he had a lot of fun with it. So eventually I'll play it when I actually get around to it. I believe it was only 99 cents, which is pretty cool. But it was either that or $1.99. It was really cheap. But really cool. You know, games are games. I'll definitely check it out at some point. Then we go on to more Dragon Ball Z. This will be fun. First up, we have the very first Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This was one of the first games I got when I decided I wanted to buy all of the Dragon Ball Z games. This game was released December 3rd, 2002. I actually remember playing this game at an old childhood friend's house a long time ago, and I remember it being fun. It's just, going back on it now, it doesn't look all that great. The 3D models aren't that great. And I haven't really beaten it. I mean, there's not really much to beat. It's just every Dragon Ball Z game you end up playing through the story of the show. So the story does get kind of repetitive, but they add certain stuff. But it's just really cool, because Budokai was actually a really popular game back in the day, if I remember right. Then we have the sequel, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, which was released a day over a year after the first game, on December 4th, 2003. Now, this game I didn't really play. I remember playing it with an old friend of mine in high school, and he showed me that there's actually a fusion of Yamcha and Tien in this game called Tiencha, and it looks absolutely ridiculous because it has, like, old man hair. It's really weird. I like this holographic insert here, though. Haven't really played this one, but I picked it up in Seattle one year, because I saw it and I'm like, ooh, Dragon Ball Z game and Tiencha, so that would be really cool. Really, really cool. Then we go on to possibly one of my favorite fighting games ever made, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which was released November 13th, 2007. Now, just by sheer size of characters in this game, it's amazing. There are 150 characters from throughout Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and GT. And so there's multiple forms of everyone. Vegeta, Goku, it's pretty crazy. There's even pretty minor characters. All the movie characters are there. I mean, there's really small characters like Kui and Apul from the Frieza saga that are only in like one episode. There's pretty much every character you could possibly think of that had a fight scene in this show, in any of the series, is in this game. I have unlocked every character. I've beaten everything. I've actually completely beaten this game. No, I haven't completely beaten it. There's still some stages I need to unlock, but I don't care. I have all the characters. That's all that really matters to me. I actually made some custom modded characters with items and stuff, because I'm particularly good with like Broly and a Raleigh, or a Rail, however you want to pronounce her name. I think it's a Raleigh. But this is actually the second copy of this game I've ever had. The first copy I had actually came with a bonus disc of the greatest fights from Dragon Ball Z. And I believe it was on my 21st birthday. I lent that copy out to an old coworker slash friend of mine, and then him and I kind of stopped talking. And just recently, about a year or two ago, I messaged him over Facebook and asked him, hey, I actually really want to play my Dragon Ball Z game again. Is there any way I can get it back from you? And then he comes and says, oh, about a year ago, my apartment got broken into and they stole all of my games. And I got pissed, because how do you let a game that you're borrowing get stolen, and number one, not tell the person, and number two, not ask to replace it, or just up and replace it? So I got kind of mad because he refused. He basically didn't even offer to replace it for me. So I basically had to go out and spend more than I should have. I'm not going to say how much I spent on this game on eBay, but it was way more than I should have. But I wanted this game back because of how much I loved it. And I am very happy to have it back. It's still one of my favorite fighting games, and I still go back to it occasionally just to have a lot of fun. Next to Smash Brothers, this is probably my favorite fighting game. Then we go on to some Final Fantasy. The only two Final Fantasies I have here. We have Final Fantasy X, which was released December 17th, 2001. Unfortunately, I haven't played a Final Fantasy game, but these are next to 7 and 8 and stuff. These are the more highly regarded ones, or this is a really highly regarded one, so I picked it up recently, and I'm really happy to have it, and I will play it eventually, but I haven't really played it, so it's kind of sad. It's a really popular and famous game, but I haven't played it, so I can't say much. But I also have the sequel, Final Fantasy X2, which was released almost 2 years later on November 18th, 2003. This game, on the other hand, a lot of people didn't really like as much compared to this first game here. Whenever there's like a direct sequel to a Final Fantasy game, they don't like it as much, because like 13, 2, and 3 weren't as highly regarded as the original 13. But I don't know. Haven't played this one either, because why would I if I haven't played X1? Then we go on to a game I remember quite fondly for this console, Flat Out, which was released July 12th, 2005. Another game that was released way later than I thought. I believe this company here, Bugbear, is from Finland, if I remember correctly. But I played a whole heck of a lot of this game. Not really the racing or the single player, but we did the mini games and multiplayer, me and a couple of my friends, and we got really, really, really good at it. It's just so much fun to launch your character out the windshield, and he flies through the air trying to get the highest distance, or the longest distance, and the highest arc in his... And then there's like a skee ball thing, or like a clown thing. It's pretty crazy, but this game has a lot of nostalgic value for me and my friend Philly. And I really did enjoy this game a lot, playing with my friends. This is definitely a sit down and play with your friends, because otherwise it's rather boring. But really good game. Really, really fun to play. Then we go on to another series of games based on anime. First up, we have Full Metal Alchemist and the Broken Angel, which was released January 18th, 2005. Actually, published by Square Enix, which is pretty cool. Dubbed by Funimation and all that. This is an RPG-like game from what I can tell. There's a lot of beat 'em up. I found this game actually after the sequel. I actually got the sequel over there first. But I got this because I wanted it, because I had the sequel already. I don't expect the games to be all that great. But it actually has its own story, if I remember correctly. It has its own new story and stuff. But I will play them eventually. It's really cool because I loved Full Metal Alchemist. But we also have the sequel here, Full Metal Alchemist 2, Curse of the Crimson Elixir, which actually has a bonus DVD with the first 2 episodes of the second season of the show. But I have the whole show, so, not that big of a deal. Again, made by Square Enix. Again, a beat 'em up. I don't know. It says it has improved graphics and stuff. I don't really know if this follows the series. Maybe it does, but I swear the Broken Angel had its own new story. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. But as far as I know, it wasn't the best game. This was actually released the same year, like 6 or 7 months later than the first one, on July 12th, 2005. So they kind of chucked these games out in America. But really cool to have Full Metal Alchemist games, even though they might not be all that great. Then continuing on with the anime theme, we have here, this is the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex game, which was released November 8th, 2004. I don't remember a lot about this game. I remember playing it for quite a while, and I did enjoy it. The only thing I found weird was that R2 was jump, because I'd never seen that in any PlayStation or PS2 game ever. But really cool. I do need to sit down and actually try to play this again, because it was a stealth game, if I remember right, where you could kill people, and it was just a nice little stealth game. I need to actually watch the movies again, because I don't remember too much about them, and I need to see this standalone complex series. But really cool to have. You know, it's just really cool. I need to sit down and beat it one day. Then we go on to one of my favorite game series of all time, God of War. This first one here was released March 22nd, 2005. I actually first borrowed this game from an old school buddy of mine, and played it, beat it, loved it, and then wanted to get it again so I could play it again, and I ended up getting it. You know, I actually had problems the second time playing through and needed some help, but this game is so beautiful looking. Even now, I just think the game looks so great. It's incredibly violent. Like, you can rip people in half and there's blood everywhere, there's nudity. It's a pretty gory game, but boy is it fun to just run around and slash people, because the main character has these like blades basically attached via chains wrapped around his wrist. It's pretty nuts. I absolutely love this game, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then when the sequel came out here, God of War 2, which was released just under 2 years later on March 13th, 2007, I don't remember if I pre-ordered this. I don't think I pre-ordered this. I think I found it in a store. I waited because I was so excited for this game. I'm really mad. I don't know where this hole came from right here. But I remember playing this game and playing it. It's a much longer game, but it does feel significantly easier than the first one. But it's definitely longer, and it's a lot of fun. I think I probably enjoyed this game a lot more just because of the length. But this is actually the 2-disc set, which has, I believe this is a special features DVD, which is really cool. It talks about some stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I basically, because of this game, I anticipated the third one for years and years and years, and you will see that in the PS3 collection. I'll just give you a heads up there. I absolutely loved this game. God of War was one of my favorite games on this console. It really, really was. Both of them. Kratos is one of the best video game characters of all time. Then we go on to a couple games I stole from my own mother. Yay. First up, we have Gran Turismo 3, which was released July 10th, 2001. I actually had the first two Gran Turismos on the PS1 back when I was a kid, but I sold them or lost them, or I don't know what I did. And I remember my older stepbrother and my stepfather playing this game a lot, and they got almost everything. And one day I'm like, I kind of want to play this. So I sort of took it home with me, and I just kind of kept it, because they never played the PS2 after my stepbrother moved out. And sorry, Mom, but I really enjoyed this game. I did play it a lot. I kind of cheated I didn't really cheat to get any cars, but I cheated to win races easy. This game, I didn't play too much. I played it for probably about 2 weeks and then got bored of it. I should maybe go back to it one day and just play it just for the heck of it, because that'd probably be pretty cool. But otherwise, it's Gran Turismo, which was a really famous racing series. I mean, there's been 5 of them, more if you count all the extra things they did, but still really cool. Then the other game, and boy do I have a lot of memories of this one. This is Harvest Moon, Save the Homeland, which was released November 22nd, 2001. You know, this is another one I stole from my mom, because I used to play this with my older stepbrother and stepsister a whole heck of a lot. I remember my older stepbrother actually got one of the endings for this game, because there's, oh my god, I don't know how many, there's 9 endings to this game, and it's basically, it's kind of like a farming simulator, but for some reason it's oddly entertaining. It really is, because you can like get animals, and you can get a dog. I don't think you can get a cat. I believe it's just a dog. Cows, horses. You farm. It's a pretty crazy game, to be honest, and it's pretty tedious, but I remember playing it a lot. I really enjoyed this game. I basically stole this from my mom, who was borrowing it for a really long time from somebody else, to the point where they forgot about it. So I don't even think, honestly, at this point, I don't think my mom would get all that mad if I told her I had all these games of hers, because at least somebody has them, and they're safe, you know. But really cool. I really like this game, though. Really cool. Then we go on to a game I haven't played a lot on this console, but on another one I did play quite extensively. That being Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup, which came out October 28th, 2003. I actually beat this game on the GameCube, and I had it, my friend, my really good friend that I talk about a lot, Alex, he gave me his GameCube copy, but it was in this like plastic case. It wasn't in one of these. And I ended up selling it a long time ago, and I found this at a retro game store for like $1. So I'm like, hey, I could go for Quidditch World Cup again, so I bought it. I haven't really played it. I just remember on the GameCube, I beat the game as Team USA, because Team USA. It was pretty funny. But it's Quidditch, and it's actually, when I played it, I had a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's any good anymore. I haven't really played this version. Then we go on to, well, a classic for this console. We have Eco, which was released September 24th, 2001. I can't really say too much about this game because I haven't played it. I played its prequel that came out afterwards that you will see later in this video, quite a bit later. And you know, I wanted to play this. I remember a friend bringing it over and showing it to me, but I never actually played it for myself. I did finally find the original version on eBay for really cheap, so I bought it. And it's really cool to have this because it's Eco, and it's a really famous game. But yeah, we have Eco. Not much to say though, unfortunately. Then we go on to another one of my all-time favorite series, period, but definitely for this console. We have Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, which was released December 3rd, 2001. I have actually 100%ed this game with a little bit of help. Believe it or not, it was made by Naughty Dog, the same people who made Crash Bandicoot. But I have 100%ed this game with some help because I had the guide, and it's just... But it's a really fun little platformer. I actually really enjoyed this game. It was a lot of fun. The characters are nice. It's just... It's really fun. It was really fun, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. But then, they completely changed the formula with their sequel, Jak 2, which was released October 14th, 2003. So just under 2 years later. But they completely changed the formula, and you have like guns in this game. It's still a little bit of a platformer, but there's like guns instead of just a general platformer. It was weird, but I think I like this game better than the first one. I've also beaten this one thoroughly enjoyed this game a lot, because there's also the Dark Jack, which is you get captured at the beginning of the game. It's like they infect you with this like dark eco, which is like the stuff in the game that I can't remember. It's been a very long time since I played this game, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I have the guide for this one too, I think. No, maybe not this one, but really fun game. I had a lot of fun beating this one too. Then they made another sequel, Jak 3, which was released November 9th, 2004, so just over a year after number 2, which basically plays in the same vein as the second game. But I actually haven't even played this game, which is kind of sad, because I believe I bought, well, at least 1 and 2 I bought at the same time, if I remember right. I need to sit down and play this, because I have the guide to this if I get stuck. And I've heard this is a pretty good game. I don't know if it'll top number 2 for me, but one day I will definitely play and beat this, because I loved Jak 1 and 2, Jak and Daxter and Jak 2. Then we actually have this. This is a racing game in that same universe, Jak X Combat Racing, which was released just under a year after Jak 3 on October 18th, 2005. This kind of follows the racing in this game. You have this like racing side quest or just some racing stuff you can do in number 2, and this kind of follows that. Or maybe it's the third game. I don't know, but I wanted to get this because there's actually plot in the universe in this game, so I felt like I needed to get it. I actually bought this game a second time, not realizing I already owned it, so I had to take it back, which was pretty funny. But unfortunately, I haven't really played this one too much either. I need to. I definitely need to. Even though it's different than the other ones, it's basically just a racing game, I still want to play it because it's in the Jak and Daxter universe. There is actually another game that came out in this series called Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier that was released for a couple different consoles. Unfortunately, I don't have that one. I do want to get it because I've actually heard, at first I thought it was really poorly reviewed, but I recently re-looked it up, and apparently it was pretty highly regarded, so I will definitely have to pick that up when I can find it. But then we go on to Kengo, Master of Bushido, which was released January 3rd, 2001, which might actually be the oldest game I have here. It was released really, really close to the beginning of the lifespan. And you can tell, because it's honestly not that good of a game. At first I'm like, alright, because I got this up in Seattle, and I was like, alright, I can dig this. It's a nice samurai game. But then I actually tried to play it, and the controls are really stiff and bad, and it's hard. I didn't really like it too much. I don't know if I'll ever honestly try to beat it, but it's just, it's an interesting game. It's an early PS2 game, so that's always cool to have. Then we go on to another one of my favorite game series of all time. Definitely up in the top 3 here is this series. You know, I adore this series. Got Kingdom Hearts. This is the first game, which was released September 17th, 2002. I remember when I first saw this game, it was actually my little stepbrother playing it at my dad's house. And I was like, oh my god, this game looks like fun. I actually think I borrowed this one, or maybe the second one, because he had both of them. And I played them. And I really enjoyed them, and I ended up asking for copies for myself for Christmas. So my dad actually ended up buying both of them for me. I played a lot of both 1 and 2. I remember this game a lot. I remember always getting stuck at certain points. I don't know if I ever actually beat this game, but I have had friends and my little stepbrother beat it. But I think I got pretty close to the end. I don't know if I've ever 100% beaten it, but I absolutely adore this game. I really, really do. It's such a great game. The music is so good, too. I love Kingdom Hearts, man. It's Disney and Final Fantasy, made by Square Enix. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. You go to different worlds, and it's so great. Then we have the PS2 port of the sequel to the first game. This is Kingdom Hearts RE Chain of Memories. This port was released December 2nd, 2008. This is actually a port of the Game Boy Advance sequel to Kingdom Hearts. So it's actually this weird card-based game, but basically you replay through a lot of Kingdom Hearts 1 with like this card fighting mechanic, which is a little weird and different. It's still a good game, plus after you beat it you can play through it as Riku, which is really cool. I unfortunately haven't beaten this. You will see, again I'll give this away, you will see the Game Boy Advance copy, because I did buy that actually after I got this one, because I wanted the original version as well. But still really cool to have this. I do need to play it one of these days. Because I actually have a friend, Logan, who knows this game really, really well. I actually did borrow it before, the original version, from him for about a year, and I played it a lot. Oh, that's cool. Apparently there's some nice like postcards in here. I don't remember that. That's pretty cool to see. And then there's this, I don't even know what this is. Is it a wristband? A cup holder? What the heck is this? I don't know. But that's really cool. That was a nice little surprise to see in there. But this game's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's better than any of the regular games though. But then we go on to probably my favorite game in that series, Kingdom Hearts 2, which was released March 28th, 2006. And this was the last main series, actual like following the main character. Well, no, it wasn't. They had another one, but this was the last like main numbered game in the series, and it was released in 2006. I love this game. I did beat this one. It's one of those games where you beat the final boss and it doesn't save at the end. It just is like you beat the game, and then when you try to reload it, it basically puts you back at the final boss. But I do remember beating this, and it's definitely a very, very good game. The first couple hours are kind of tedious and annoying, but the rest of the game is so good. It really is. And I cannot wait for number 3. It's been in development limbo forever, and it's actually coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, which is crazy. They're removing the exclusivity. But hey, whatever. That means they make more money. So I cannot wait for that game at all. I need it. I need that game. I bought a PS4 because I wanted to play it, basically. But Kingdom Hearts 2, phenomenal game. One of my favorite games on this console, definitely. Alright, then we go on to Lupin the Third, or Lupin, however you want to say it. Lupin the Third, Treasure of the Sorcerer King, which was released April 11th, 2004. Now, this game, I don't really know a lot about. It was just kind of one of those random ones that my friend Phoenix found when I got those 13 games at the one's retro game store. And they actually rang it up. This said on the label here, it said like $1.99, and it rang up at $12.99. But they gave it to me for the price sticker price because of what it said. They're just like, whatever, we'll give it to you for that. That's on us. So I'm like, okay, cool. Don't really remember a whole lot about it because I haven't really played it. It actually looks reasonably good from what I'm seeing. So, or it looks, just the look of it, it looks like it looks cool. So, you know, maybe I will play it, but otherwise haven't really done much with it. But really cool to have an anime-based game. Then we have a sports game that I played quite extensively back in the day. Madden 06, which was released August 8th, 2005. I actually remember playing this and the game before this quite a bit on the PS2, Madden 05 and this one. I ended up selling Madden 05. This game I kept. It's actually really cool because this is where they kind of introduced the QB vision thing that they never used again. Because it was an interesting mechanic, but it wasn't that great. It got kind of hard, and me and my friend actually turned it off whenever we played it with each other. But I played a lot of this game. I remember playing it a whole heck of a lot because I do actually really enjoy the Madden games. Haven't played them in a couple of years, but that's okay. But I really did enjoy the Madden games back in the day because I'm into football, and you know, it's cool to have. Then we go on to a game I remember playing back in the day. Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects, which was released September 20th, 2005. This is actually a game I borrowed from my uncle-in-law back in the day. I never actually beat it. I think I got to like one of the last levels and just couldn't beat the thing. And I haven't really played it. I remember putting it in after I bought this and saying, oh my god, it looks so ugly now. So I haven't really played it. I should. It wasn't very highly regarded. A lot of people didn't like this game. I enjoyed it back in the day. It was made by EA, no wonder. But I remember enjoying it a lot back in the day, but otherwise I haven't played it recently. I do remember there's some really, really provocative extra pictures that you can unlock of like Storm and some other characters that are really nice. But really funny about this, right here the case is all busted open because I actually bought this right before I went up to Seattle one year. And they had this weird, at the mall where this one retro game store is, they had this animal thing, and I was holding a king cobra. I actually have a picture of it somewhere. But my friend kept dropping the bag of these games on the ground, and it broke. I believe you'll see another game later that I'll point that out in, but still. Really cool. Then we go on to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which was released October 24th, 2006. Now, this is a, I guess you could say it's a spiritual successor slash sequel to games that are over on the right here that you won't see till the end of this video. But it's basically, you pick a couple, like 3 or 4 characters, run around on a level, and beat it. And it's like a top-down, the characters are really small kind of game. This is the special edition, which I don't know what that means because I don't have the bonus disc. I was just given the game. What is the bonus disc is a DVD with behind the scenes stuff. Okay, but unfortunately I don't have that. Maybe I should try to find it one day and just get it. But I did, I've never actually beaten this one. But it has all kinds of characters and maybe someday I will actually beat it. I do remember it being a pretty highly regarded game. Then we go on to the sequel to a very popular game on the PS1. This is Metal Gear Solid 2. This is actually the re-release with extra stuff called Substance. The first version of this game was released November 12th, 2001, but this version here was released March 3rd, 2003. So a few months after, and all it has is, it has extra stuff. Wow, it's got a lot of extra stuff. Oh my goodness. It's got all kinds of extra stuff. Okay. But I basically, I got Substance because I have the extra version of the third game down there. Which is really cool. But unfortunately, I haven't really played any of the Metal Gear Solid games. I believe this is the game where Raiden was introduced. Raiden, I don't know. But still really cool. And then, of course, we have Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. Again, I bought Substance because I had the extra version of 3. The original version of 3 was released November 17th, 2004. So, over 3 years after 2. And then this version was actually released March 14th, 2006. So, about 2 years, over 2 years after. Which is pretty weird. But I've actually had 2 different copies of this game. The first version I had, my friend got me for my birthday or Christmas or something, and it didn't work. And the cleaning didn't do the job, so I believe I ended up buying it again. Or maybe this is the same version and they cleaned it and it still worked. But it was actually a 2-disc game, but not really, because the whole game is on this first disc. But the second disc was just some online stuff. And I don't go online on the PS2, so I'm not really worried about that second disc. Maybe someday I will get it just so I can have the complete game. But otherwise, it's not the end of the world that I don't have it. It's not like I can't finish the game. Really, really cool, though. Then we go on to the last game I stole from my mom. Namco Museum, which has been out for a long time. But this version came out December 4th, 2001. I actually remember playing this game a lot with my older stepbrother, specifically Dig Dug. We beat Dig Dug and Pac-Man. The Pac-Man arrangement and the Dig Dug arrangement. I never really played these. It also has Mrs. Pac-Man that you can unlock, and Galaxian and the pole position games. But it's basically a bunch of old arcade games you could play. I absolutely love Dig Dug. I might actually have to sit down and play Dig Dug again. I had a lot of fun. But otherwise, it's just a collection of old arcade games, and it's really cool. Then we go on to a nice little chunk of sports games here. First up, we have NBA Hoops, which is an arcade kind of NFL Blitz style of basketball, which was released February 26th, 2001. I believe this was also released for the PS1 and Dreamcast. I don't remember when I got this. I actually had this for a really long time now that I think about it, because the very first time I ever stayed up all night we played this game. So I've had this game for a long time now that I think about it. But there's some really cool like extra bonus characters you can get. There's like this crazy wacky team with like a wizard and an old man, two different horses, a husky, this weird alien looking dude, and a couple other things. But it's just an arcade basketball game. I think it might actually be like a spiritual successor kind of thing to NBA Jam, because I swear it's the exact same announcer. And it's 3-on-3, even though NBA Jam was 2-on-2, but I swear it's the same announcer. I don't quite know, I don't quite remember, but it's still really cool to have because it's a crazy arcade basketball game. Then we have NBA Live 2005, which was released September 28th, 2004. Now, I actually really liked the NBA Live games back in the day. I still have NBA Live 99 for the PS1, as you saw. I also had NBA Live 2002 and 2003 for the PS1 at one point. But I got rid of them. I have this one. I just remember playing this a whole heck of a lot. I don't think I played through a complete season, but I would always... I created a couple characters. We actually basically had an entire starting lineup in this game of created characters, and some of them would always... Basically, I'd always make the three-point contest and the dunk competition and the All-Star game. But I remember this game a lot because it was basically the first NBA Live game with the dunk contest, which was really cool. But I remember playing this a lot with my friend Roman. We would actually sometimes play this game and just do alley-oops only. So we'd inbound the ball and immediately throw an alley-oop, and if we got the rebound, we'd have to keep throwing alley-oops. It was just a really fun experience with this game. Yeah. I didn't play basketball games for quite a long time after this, though. Then we have the original NBA Street, which was released June 18th, 2001. I actually have a lot of really good experiences with the first two NBA Streets. I actually had the first three for a long time, but I actually sold them all away. I found this game recently because I wanted to play the NBA Street games again. The game looks really bad now, but it still plays pretty good. Maybe someday I'll actually beat it again. I did beat it back in the day, both NBA Street 1 and 2. I remember it a lot. My friend actually ended up creating an entire team. He had me, him, and another friend in this game, and we were all like the highest ranking you could possibly be. But I remember it. I remember that team a lot. I wish I still had that team. It would be kind of cool. But really fun game. This actually was a really, really popular basketball game back in the day. I remember it really well. This and the second one. And then finally, to end the sports games, we have a game I played a lot as well. This is NCAA Football 06, which was released July 11th, 2005. This game, man, I played this game so much. I would always be Oregon State because that's the college I had family go to. I created actually a couple players in this game. I had myself at wide receiver because I always wanted to play wide receiver. I won the Heisman. I actually was able to stay for 4 years in this game. I won the Heisman for 4 years, even after getting injured one year, which is pretty crazy. But I had my best friend at the time at running back. I created a quarterback that I changed the name of a couple times because it would always be my favorite musician. And then there was Chuck Norris at cornerback and just a gibberish name at linebacker. I just kind of hit the keys over the place, so he has like an apostrophe and a dash in his name. It's pretty weird. But I just remember playing this game a lot. I actually ended up playing another like franchise with one team from every division. But I extensively played this game a bunch as the Oregon State Beavers, and the game doesn't look that great anymore, but it was so much fun to play back in the day. I remember leaving, this was back before I had enough memory cards, but I would have to leave my PS2 on to save the data, basically, because I didn't want to lose the data. And then, yeah, that probably ruined my original PS2. I've actually had two PS2s. And actually, this is the second copy of this game I've had. The original version of this game I for some reason, tore all the plastic and the insert off. So I actually had to go onto eBay and rebuy this game for like $5, which is more than it's probably worth, but I still did it because I wanted to, and that's really cool. It's really cool to have the complete game again. Then we go on to another game I remember quite a lot back in the day, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, which was released October 1st, 2002. Now this game, I played a lot with my friends when I was younger, because it's the sequel to the first Hot Pursuit, which I actually played a lot with my friend Roman because he had it on the PS1. And I think I saw this one day and went, ooh, is this like that one? I want to play this. It doesn't look all that great anymore, but I remember playing as my friend, or one of us could play as a police officer chasing another person in a car. And that was always a lot of fun because you could lay down like spike strips and roadblocks and have like a helicopter, and it was pretty fun. It was a really fun basic cop and robbers game, really, with different stages. Definitely another good game to play with your friends. I definitely liked it a lot. Fun game, Need for Speed back when it was still really, really good. Good game. Then we go on to a game that I still think looks absolutely beautiful. Okami. This game was released September 19th, 2006. I remember playing this game back in high school. I never actually got to the end of it. I thought I did, and I played it quite extensively. Loved the game. I love the way it looks even today. Such a beautiful looking game. And, you know, I had a lot of fun playing this game because the art is absolutely phenomenal in this game. But unfortunately I didn't beat it. I just remember running around as Amaterasu, and you basically play as a god. It was just a lot of fun, and it looked beautiful. And then they made the sequel for the DS, Okamiden, and then I believe the company went out of business or something. Or no, they were going to make a sequel, but it failed, or something happened, and they ended up with Okamiden, which wasn't all that good. I just wish they could somehow make like a sequel or a spiritual successor to this game. I think it would make them a bunch of money. I really do. Great game. Then we go on to Onimusha Warlords, which was released March 13th, 2001. Now this game, I actually just picked up on a whim because I'm like, wait a minute, I swear I recognize this game. And I actually thought for a long time that this was like its own side game, because I thought the original Onimusha was on Dreamcast, but I think I got it confused with Shenmue, because this is actually the first Onimusha, and I believe there's two more. I haven't really played this game, but I need to, because I've heard really good things about it. But unfortunately, not much to say about this. Then we go on to Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. Yep, that's the full title of that game. This game was released November 21st, 2005. Now, I actually got this game originally for Christmas. This is the second copy. I'll explain that later. But I actually wanted this game a little bit for a while because I saw, back when G4, the TV channel, was a thing, I actually saw a review and some hints about this game, and it actually looked really good, and they were saying it was actually pretty good. You know, a movie game that's actually really good. I just remember I got this game for Christmas one year from my uncle, or my uncle-in-law. I played it a little bit, never actually beat it, and then I actually sold it. He got me Enter the Matrix and this game, and I actually sold this game. And then I think I saw it at a retro game store, and I wanted it again, so I picked it up because it was cheap. This was also in that bag with Marvel Nemesis. Technically, the PS1 Spider-Man game that I talked about in there was also in that bag, I believe. There might be one more, I'm not 100% sure. But I remember this game being really cool, actually. And I never beat it, but still, really cool. It says right here there's a free movie ticket inside. I wonder, is it still there? Nope, nope, wait. Free 2-day shipping. Okay, I don't know what that means. But I guess the person that owned this took the movie ticket. But that's okay. It's not like it's relevant anymore. It was made by Ubisoft. That's probably why the game was reasonably good. Then we have a nice little series here. We've got the Prince of Persia reboots. First up we have Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which was released November 6th, 2003. I actually played this a little bit on the GameCube way back in the day. And I bought it on here because I wanted the Prince of Persia games, because I remember this trilogy being really highly regarded, or people really liked it. At least this first one people liked a lot. I at least wanted this first one because I remembered it so well. But I just remember this game being pretty cool, and you could like run on walls and stuff. But unfortunately I haven't played any of these games, so I don't really remember too much, but I do need to play them, definitely. But we also have the sequel here, Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. Ignore the JP right here. That was obviously the person who owned it before me. This game was released November 30th, 2004, so just over a year after The Sands of Time. And it was actually rated M, which was really weird. They completely changed the rating. I remember when that happened, people were confused. But I don't know why. I guess they added blood and stuff. Or they added actual, like, legit gore and sexual themes. Probably this chick here. Don't really remember anything about this because I haven't honestly played it. But I actually got this after I got the third game. I thought the third game was the second game, but it was actually the third game. So I had to go back and buy this one, which was actually pretty funny. But then we have the third game, Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones, which was released December 1st, 2005, so just over a year after the second game. I do like this cover. I believe there's something wrong with you, or this weird, oh yeah, there's two souls. I don't know, but there's like a, I just think, I want to play these games specifically to get to this game to see exactly what they do here. But one of these days I will, because I remember at least The Sands of Time a lot of people really liked. I don't know about Warrior Within and The Two Thrones. I think The Warrior Within might have actually, yeah, I think that's what it was. I think The Warrior Within wasn't all that good, but people said this one was really, really good, I think. I swear, somewhere I saw that, but I don't know. I will play them eventually, though, definitely. Then we go on to a really, really highly regarded series, and unfortunately I've only ever played this first game, Ratchet and Clank. This first game was released November 4th, 2002. It was actually made by Insomniac, who made Spyro the Dragon. So basically, the people that made Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot made Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter, which is pretty funny. But I remember this game. I played it. I bought it recently, not really recently, but I bought it and beat it, and it was really fun, and I wanted to get the other ones, and I just never actually sat down and played the other ones. But I remember this is kind of a it's kind of like Jak 2, but I think it came out before Jak 2. It's just a third-person kind of platforming shooter that was a lot of fun, and I need to play them because they kept making games for the consoles for this series. But this first game was great. And then you have the second game, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, with a nice little holographic shell, or nice little holographic insert. which was released just over a year later on November 11th, 2003. I actually really... I played the beginning of this game. I believe they actually changed the voices from the first game to the second game, if I remember correctly. So I played it and I'm like, oh, the voices are different. And I was immediately turned off for some reason, but I will sit down and play them eventually. Is this one, and then the rest of them definitely. But really cool to have it. Haven't really played it too much, so can't say much. Same thing with this next one, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, which was released just under a year after the second game on November 3rd, 2004. So this is actually the second copy of this game I've ever had. My dad got me this one year for Christmas or my birthday or something, and it was in the generic GameStop case that they used to have. And so I decided I wanted to replace all of those, so I rebought all of the games that I had with that in it. I'll point out a couple other ones because there were only like two. You'll point them out in their individual consoles. But I bought this on eBay for reasonably priced, and it's really cool to have. Yeah. Then we have a little bit different of a game in that series, Ratchet Deadlocked, which was released just under a year after Up Your Arsenal on October 25th, 2005. Now this game isn't the stereotypical Ratchet & Clank game. It's kind of an arena fighter battle game that just takes place with Ratchet. Unfortunately, I haven't really played this one either, so I don't really have all that much to say, but I will play it eventually. And then finally, in the Ratchet & Clank series, we have this game, Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. Now, this is actually a port of a PSP game remastered for the PS2, which is a little weird saying that, because the PSP kind of ran more like a PS3. But anyway, this port was released March 11th, 2008, so really late into the lifespan of this console. But I think it goes back to this sort of play style, but you can actually play as Clank in this game and stuff, but I haven't played this one either, so there's really not all much I can say. Then, we go on to a nice horror action game. We got Resident Evil Code Veronica X, which was released August 21st, 2001. I don't really remember, I haven't really played this one. I believe I bought this at one of the retro game stores, and it plays a lot like the first Resident Evil, so it's a little frustrating. So I haven't really played it, but I will sit down and play games like this again. Wesker's in this, that's pretty cool. But otherwise, really, really cool. You know, it's Resident Evil. There's not much you can say about it that hasn't already been said. Then we go on to Rygar: The Legendary Adventure, which is actually a reboot of a NES series made by Tecmo. Now, this game was released November 25th, 2002. This game was actually, I actually remember this game. My stepmom bought it instead of God of War, because back when I was really into God of War or something like that, she was going to buy that, but then she saw this and she got it. And I remember playing it, getting stuck within 10 minutes and being mad about it. But I believe I found this at at a retro game store, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's this game. I should play this just to get, you know, see if I can ever get past that. And it was cheap, so I got it. It kind of sort of plays like God of War, except not as violent, because it's rated T as opposed to God of War, which is rated M. But I haven't really played it that much, so I don't have all that much to say about it. Then we go on to an all-time classic, and a game I mentioned during Eco. This is Shadow of the Colossus, which was released October 18th, 2005. Now, this game, back in the day, was one of the most beautiful looking games I had ever seen. Now, it doesn't look all that great, but man, this game was so much fun. Basically, you play as the main character. I can't remember his name. He has a name. It's Wanderer, something like that, I think. And you run around on your horse with a sword that kind of shows beams of light towards the Colossus you're supposed to fight. And then you fight giant creatures and you have to climb up on them and kill them, and it's some of the most insane action scenes I've ever seen. And the music is great, the art style is phenomenal. The Colossus, I still think the Colossus look really, really, really good. Everything else not so much, but I remember this game blowing me away when I first played it. Oh my god. This game was so much fun. It's a classic. This company actually recently just put out a new game that I will talk about on my PS4 collection. But really, really fun game. I absolutely adore this game. It's Shadow of the Colossus. This is a must-play. This is definitely a must-play. There's quite a few that I haven't specifically said, but this is definitely a must-play. Then we go on to Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which was released October 12th, 2004. Now, I just bought this game at a GameStop. I'll tell you the funny story about it, but I basically, for some reason, wanted a Shin Megami Tensei game because for a long time I saw it everywhere and my friends were talking about certain, companies and stuff, and I just wanted this game. Plus it's by Atlas, who always makes really weird, interesting games. The only other Shin Megami Tensei game I should probably get are the Persona games, because it technically takes place in that same universe, I think, or something like that. But I basically got this game at GameStop. I kept seeing it on their shelves, and every time I would take it up to the counter, they couldn't find it. And then finally, after like the third time, they finally found it, which was pretty funny. So I got this game, which was really cool. I probably paid more than I should have, but I got it, and that's okay. I haven't played it, so I don't have much to say about it. Then we have the newest, by far the newest game on this console that I have, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This was actually originally released on the Wii, and then they ported it to the PS2 for some reason. This port was released on January 19th, 2010, so this is a relatively new game for this console. I haven't played any of the Silent Hills. For some reason I thought this one was really popular, but I guess it wasn't really. I got this from a friend of a coworker, the same guy that gave me the Resident Evil and Legacy of Kain games. You'll see another one of the games he gave me here in a second. I believe actually I got Devil May Cry 3 from him, and then you'll see one here shortly, and then a couple more in the PS3 collection. But I haven't really played this. I don't know if it's any good. I hope it is. I really do. Then we go on to, on the last stack here, we go on to The Simpsons Road Rage, which was released November 24th, 2001. Now this game is just kind of a Crazy Taxi clone with The Simpsons in it. That's all it is. So there's not much. I remember my friend playing it a lot, and he enjoyed it a lot. But I kind of got it for free in this pack in Seattle. So I don't have a lot to say about it, because I think Crazy Taxi is better. Then we go on to another horror game. This is Siren, which was released April 20th, 2004. This is another game I got from the friend of a coworker here. Funnily enough, my friend Phoenix had wanted to play this game, but he was like, we should get the remake or whatever, Siren Blood Curse, which might be for the PS3, and it was actually really expensive. But then the guy had this for sale, and I'm like, I'll just pick this up, and my friend was really happy when I got this. It's another horror game. Unfortunately, I haven't really played it, though, so I don't have a lot to say about it. There's all kinds of horror games I need to play with my friends, though. Then we go on to another really popular franchise for this system, Sly Cooper. This is the first game in the franchise, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, which was released September 23rd, 2002. My girlfriend actually really likes these games. I believe she's beaten like the first, I don't know if she beat all 4 or just the first like 2 or 3. Unfortunately, I only have this one. Haven't really played it, but I need to, because my other really good friend Logan likes these games a lot. But it was made by Sucker Punch. I know they made something else popular. Oh yeah, Infamous. Really cool game. It's not in the best of shape, this plastic here, but I don't know. It's a really good game, and I'll play it eventually. Definitely. Then we go on to a fighting game I remember a lot. Soul Calibur 2. This was actually released on every console of this generation, the Xbox and the GameCube and the PS2. They were all, I don't know if they were all released on the same day, but this one was released August 27th, 2003. Now, when I was younger, I had this version and the GameCube version. I played the GameCube version a lot more, and I will talk about it in my GameCube collection when I get there. But I did play this game, this version, quite a bit. The controls felt a little bit different, but that's because it's PS2. I wasn't quite as good at it, but it did have Heihachi from Tekken, which was pretty cool. I did enjoy this, and basically, yep, this might have been in that same bag, because it looks like it might be broken, or this is a... Oh yeah, it did get broken. That's broken. It was in the same bag as King Kong and Marvel Nemesis. But I basically decided that I wanted to get every version of Soul Calibur 2 because of how much I enjoyed it. So this was the first one I got. And it's pretty cool. I still prefer the GameCube version though. But then after Soul Calibur 2, for some reason it became PlayStation exclusive for a little while. So I actually have the sequel here, Soul Calibur 3, which was released just over 2 years after Soul Calibur 2, on October 25th, 2005. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with this game, but my friend Philly played the living hell out of this game, and I played it quite a bit, because I would play it with him, and I think he let me borrow it for a little while, I think. But I do remember playing this. I didn't quite like it as much as 2. But my friend Philly's really good at these games. Really, really cool to have. I bought it because of him, and I wanted it because actually this guy... can't remember his name right now. But Zazalamel, there we go. I do remember it. But really cool game. Really cool to have. Soul Calibur was a lot of fun back in the day. Then we go on to another movie-based game that was actually considered pretty good. This is Spider-Man 2. This game was released June 28th, 2004. I don't remember if that was before or after the movie, but I remember my friend, the one that I borrowed a bunch of games from, playing this game, probably on the GameCube, really enjoying it. And then I remember a lot of friends saying that this was like a really good Spider-Man game. So I found it really recently and I picked it up. Unfortunately, I haven't really played it, so there's not much I can say. But it's Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man games tend to be pretty good. Then we go on to a game that I enjoyed a lot. I've had a couple different times, but apparently there's a whole story behind it, and a lot of people don't like it. But that game is Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, which was released November 3rd, 2002. Now, this is the second copy of this game I have had. I actually had this back when I was a kid. I don't think I beat it, but I got pretty far. And then I sold it, and then one day I was like, I kind of want to play this game. So I looked for it, realized I didn't have it, so I went and bought it again, which is kind of sad. But apparently this game isn't considered all that great because it was basically pushed to be released earlier than it was supposed to. So it wasn't completely finished, and it's plagued with like bugs and glitches. Like, I even remember back when I originally played it, I was able to charge through a gate that was locked, which was really cool. Like, I just remember skipping over things. I could never recreate that, but I guess that's a pretty common thing in this game. But otherwise, I actually really enjoy this game. It does feel a little stiffer than the other games, but I do like how you can have different breaths. There's not just fire, there's ice breath and electric breath, and then bubble breath to catch the dragonflies, which is what you collect in this game. This is actually the last game that Tom Kenny, who played Spyro in Spyro 2 and 3 as well, this is the last game he played Spyro in, which is really interesting. This game's actually really, really good. I particularly like it. I guess it's a pretty mediocre game though, but I enjoyed it a bit. It was fun. Fun back in the day. Getting pretty close to the end here. Whew. Alright, next up we have Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, which was released August 31st, 2004, which was celebrating the Street Fighter 15th anniversary. Now, this game has, we'll start over here, this is Street Fighter 2 the Anniversary Edition, or it says Hyper Street Fighter 2 the Anniversary Edition, which basically allows you to, it has every character from every version of Street Fighter 2, and you can mix and match the costumes, which was really cool. And I remember Street Fighter 2 a lot, so it's really cool to have a game where you already have Vega and Balrog and M. Bison unlocked and stuff. And then it also has Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is a really good game still too. Don't think I like it as much as 2, but it has some cool characters, and there's actually a way to get Akuma in that, we found out, and we were able to do it. But still pretty cool. And apparently it also has the Street Fighter 2 animated movie in it, which I technically already own. I guess it's a censored version though, because there's some scenes in that. But really cool to have. Then we go on to a game I played, a couple games I played quite a bit as a kid. First up we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which was released October 28th, 2001 on the PS2. This was also released on PS1, and I had it and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for a long time on there. But I remember this game on this console. My older stepbrother and I would play it a lot. He beat it and unlocked all the cheats and stuff, and we would run around with like low gravity and stuff. And that was a lot of fun, just playing with like low gravity. This is back when the Tony Hawk games were still really, really good. And I really enjoyed the early ones. And then keeping up with that theme, we have Tony Hawk's Underground, which was released October 28th, 2003, which is exactly 2 years after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I don't remember when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 came out. I think it was after the Undergrounds. I actually remember playing this game a lot as a kid. You basically made a skater and you did a whole story mode with him, which is the first Tony Hawk game where there was a whole story mode based on a custom skater and him getting big and stuff. And I think I beat this game. I don't remember if I ever beat it, but I got pretty close at least. I also had the second Underground, and I played the hell out of that as well. I think I beat that one too. But I actually ended up selling both of them, and I recently rebought this one. Someday I will get Underground 2 again, because I believe that was the last good Tony Hawk game. They don't look that good anymore, at least Underground looks really bad. But then we go on to some Twisted Metal. This is Twisted Metal Black. This case is really black. This game was released June 18th, 2001. I actually got this game because my friend Phoenix particularly remembered this Twisted Metal game. I ended up getting a Twisted Metal game for another console, and you'll see it in that collection, and we'll talk about it there. But this is the one he really wanted, and I was able to find this at a retro game store, and I picked it up and he was all excited. It's basically Twisted Metal, a car, demolition derby, gun game. Haven't really played it too much though. Then we go on to yet another game I've had more than once. Ultimate Spider-Man, another really good Spider-Man game. This game was released September 22nd, 2005. I actually beat this game back in the day when I had the original copy. You can play as Spider-Man and Venom. That's so much fun, you don't even know. But I actually beat this game back in the day, and I sold it probably around the same time I sold the Spyro game, and I wanted it again, so I bought it on eBay. Almost bought the collector's edition, but I lost that auction. But really fun game, really cartoony and stuff, and over the top, but still really fun. I'll have to play it again someday. Then, if you want to talk about cartoony and over the top, Beautiful Joe, which was released August 24th, 2004. I don't remember when I got this game, but I played it a bit, adored it, and then just stopped playing it. It's one of those games I kind of stopped playing. I need to play it again, definitely, because it's definitely an over-the-top, crazy, movie-looking game. It's pretty fun. It's a beat-em-up. Really, really fun, but haven't beaten it, so ultimately not too much I can say about it. There is actually a second game that I need to get that I don't have, but I will buy that eventually. Then we have a really not that great game, Warhammer 40,000 Fire Warrior, which was released November 17th, 2003. I basically got this game for like $1 at a retro game store because it's Warhammer 40k, and I've played a lot of Dawn of War games, and the Tower, one of my favorite races, so I bought this game. It's basically, it kind of feels like Call of Duty. It's a first-person shooter you kind of play, and it's like, it's not terrible, but it doesn't play that well, and it's not that great. But there are some absolutely fantastic voices in this game. The narrator is Tom Baker, as in the 4th Doctor. Another Doctor is in it, I can't remember right now. And then Brian Blessed plays a character in this, which is pretty cool. So, otherwise the game isn't that great, though. Then we go on to an all-time classic wrestling game in my book, and one I played a whole heck of a lot. This is WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. I still think Brock Lesnar, that's his happy face. This game was released October 27th, 2003. Now, this was the first wrestling game I ever played, and I played it a lot with my friend Alex. We created so many characters in this game, played through it so many times. We would beat everything. I created a character that had like every championship at one point because I kept playing through years and years of the campaign. It was definitely, I think this is the best overall wrestling game of all time. It doesn't look all that great anymore, definitely, but it was really good and a lot of fun. This is actually the second copy I ever had. My first copy, the laser on one of my PS2s actually burnt it, and I couldn't really play it for an extended period of time. And then I actually ended up finding this up in Washington one day, and I was like, well, I need this game again anyway, and it was really cheap, so I bought it. Really cool. This game was a lot of fun. It really was back in the day. I enjoyed playing this game. It was probably one of my favorite games back in the day. 3 games left. The first 2 here are a series that I played quite a bit. We have X-Men Legends, which, like I said with Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it's the spiritual successor to these games, because these games came first. This game, this first X-Men Legends, was released September 21st, 2004. I actually originally borrowed both of these from my uncle-in-law. I never actually have beaten this game. I keep getting really close and stopping, or just something happens. Like, I don't think I ever got that far the first time I ever played it. Then I played it again after I bought this, and there was a glitch with my save file, so I had to start over, and then I just stopped playing, because the game's good, but it just gets really boring after a while. But it's really cool. It has a lot of really cool voices. This is where Steve Blum first started playing Wolverine. And there's actually a custom character that was created for this game, Magma, I think. I don't know for sure. But really good game. I enjoyed it a lot. Then we have the sequel, X-Men Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse, which was released one day under a year after X-Men Legends 1, September 20th, 2005. Now this game I have beaten. I've beaten it once. I need to play it again, because I believe in this game you can unlock Professor X with Deadpool and Iron Man or something like that. I think it's this game. Maybe it's the other one. I don't know. But I do definitely need to play this again, because I need to beat both of them. Because I remember this game actually being a lot of fun. But yeah, otherwise, really cool game. And it has Apocalypse. Good Apocalypse. Until they made that terrible X-Men Apocalypse movie. It's probably the best version of Apocalypse that's ever been on any kind of media. I don't know. But, really cool game. I had a lot of fun with this one. And finally, to end this video, we have Xenosaga Episode 1. And I don't speak German, so I'm probably going to butcher this. Der Wild zur Macht. This is the first Xenosaga, and it was released February 25th, 2003. I remember playing this when I got it. I enjoyed it, but I just kind of stopped playing it. It's kind of an RPG kind of game. It's got a lot of voices I recognize, and I need to play it again. Unfortunately, I haven't beaten it, obviously, so I can't say that much. But there are 2 more episodes. It was originally planned to be like 4 or 5, but after the 3rd one, I guess they shut down, or it didn't sell as well as they thought it would. And I think this is a cult classic now. But the 2nd and 3rd games are really expensive now. which really sucks. I want to try to find them eventually, because they actually changed the voices in episode 2, but then came back to the original voices in episode 3, which was really weird. But still, really cool to have this. I will beat it someday, definitely. But that is it for my PS2 collection. Finally, we made it through, guys. We made it through. The next video will be my Game Boy Advance collection. See you then.